A very good morning to you and welcome once again to St Lawrence Jury. We've been having trouble with our IT this morning, so I'm making a different attempt at recording a sermon to be able to deliver to you later in the day. I'm going to read from 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verses 18 to 25. For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved it is the power of God. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, the intelligence of the intelligent I will frustrate. Where is the wise person? Where is the teacher of the law? Where is the philosopher of the age? Has not God made foolish the wisdom of the world? For since in the wisdom of God, the world through its wisdom did not know him, God was pleased through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believe. Jews demand signs and Greeks look for wisdom, but we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. But to those whom God has called, both Jews and Greeks, Christ the power of God and the wisdom of God. For the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom, and the weakness of God is stronger than human strength. Here ends the reading. After struggling so much with the technology for this morning, I still wanted to be able to post something, and we'll find out when you discover whether you are watching this, if I've managed to succeed or not. But I wanted to pick up on this theme of God's wisdom and start with the question, who knows anything anymore? St. Paul wrote, has God not made foolish the wisdom of the world? One of the things about our current situation here in this country and across the world is that we have found that many of the things that were the stable things on which we could rely from month to month and year to year have been undermined, or at least changed. We might think of our health, of course, as the first thing in the pandemic, but also some of the other things we rely on have become less reliable. Our financial stability, our ability to work, our opportunities to offer our neighbours and relations friendship and companionship. Many of the building blocks of our lives have been somehow undermined, and the wisdom that we used to hold as true has become much more fragile. That, of course, might also apply within the pandemic period to our reliance on IT, which we have discovered this morning can be somewhat transitory. Nonetheless, the things that have been what we relied on have sometimes been taken away, and we therefore have to ask ourselves what is left that we can rely on. In this passage in 1 Corinthians, Paul talks about foolishness and wisdom. And in the context of the cross, he says that as far as the world is concerned, the cross looks like foolishness. The man who came and declared himself to be the Messiah of the world died on a cross. What looked like God's wisdom coming to preach, to teach, and to save turned into what, in the world's eyes, seemed to be a disaster. And yet, of course, it became the greatest victory of all time. God's foolishness turned into God's wisdom. As we go through times of uncertainty in our lives, we have to rely on those things which are completely sound. And the foolishness of the cross, the wisdom of God's victory, is surely the greatest wisdom on which we can place any foundation in our lives. For to us, it is the power of God. Amen.